Hello everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here, Yeehaw, and I'm sure if you have logged into the game recently, you have seen this big old wall of text, and I'm going to break down everything coming to Pokemon Unite, and a lot of it is actually already here. Let's get into it. First off, real quick, it looks like you're going to be able to unlock Mewtwo Y the same way you unlocked Mewtwo X through the Crystal Cave Challenge. I don't know if your points carry over. We should find out about this very, very soon because I think this goes live in less than 24 hours. But let's talk about some of our beautiful balance changes. First of all, we have some buffs here for Crustle that we're going to get into. We actually have a bug fix for Decidueye. We have a nice little buff for Tyranitar and for Garchomp. Two Pokemon that I think maybe could have used some buffs. Tyranitar more than Garchomp, but these are really nice changes for these Pokemon. We also have a buff for Talonflame. Let's start with Talon. Talonflame's buff is to Brave Bird. Now, recently Brave Bird got a cooldown reduction buff, but what they have given it is more damage. And inside the patch notes, they talked about the fact that they wanted this Pokemon basically to be able to delete some of the squishier attackers inside the game with Brave Bird. So we have about a 10% damage increase with this move. You dive in, you deal a ton of damage there, and then you continue to attack your opponents. Unlike Fly, you don't really have the ability to get out of horrible situations as easy with Brave Bird. You can run away, but it's a little more telegraphed and it's harder to do what you need to do. For those of you who are unaware, let me show you the Brave Bird Aerial Ace combo that you can pull off with Talonflame. You can land on an enemy and you mark them right there. You see those little eyes above the enemy? If you hit that enemy with a boosted attack, you will reset the cooldown of Flame Charge or Aerial Ace. The nice thing is, after you use Aerial Ace, you get a free boosted attack. Let me kind of show you the combo here. Boom, boosted, Aerial Ace is right back. So you can use the combo that simply. I'll show you it one more time here. You land with Brave Bird, into an Aerial Ace, into a boosted, and Aerial Ace again. If there are multiple enemies around, you can bounce around to each of them, resetting your Aerial Ace through your boosted combo. It'll look something like this. Land, Aerial Ace boosted, Aerial Ace boosted, Aerial Ace boosted, and there you go. You rip through the enemy team. With a little more damage to Brave Bird and the previous cooldown reduction buff, we might have a reality where this build is playable. I still think it's going to be outclassed, to be honest. Surprisingly, Crustle has received a few changes. I say surprisingly because honestly, I thought they'd kind of forgotten about this Pokemon at some point. Right now, you are able to get a lower cooldown on your X Scissor, both the base version and the plus version. The plus version gives you an additional second of cooldown reduction. So it used to be 7 seconds on X Scissor, now it is 6. And it actually combos really well with the other two moves for Crustle. Essentially, you can immediately use Shell Smash and then use an X Scissor, and the timing will be pretty perfect for these two moves to sync right back up. Shell Smash right into X Scissor, and as you can see right there, they're essentially on the exact same cooldown timer if you prefer this build. The same is also true for Rock Tomb. You can use your X Scissor into it, and they are on a much better cooldown timer together. In fact, you could even start with an X Scissor, then into a Rock Tomb to set up another X Scissor plus into another wall. The timing isn't perfect to land 2 X Scissors into a single Rock Tomb, but it's much, much better. If you drop the Rock Tomb right away, the cooldown comes up a little bit faster. This is going to be really interesting to see if this is going to change enough about Crustle. Another interesting thing is the Unite move change, which is going to deal more damage to the opponents that you are around. It's already actually a really solid Unite move. I think people just don't realize how powerful it can actually be. Crustle also has an increase to its ability Sturdy that gives defense and special defense, and as you can see here at level 15, you would have extremely high defenses, 905 defense and 735 special defense just using its passive ability Sturdy, which is pretty cool. A little more power for this Pokemon's defenses. Crustle buffs, can you believe it? This one was a real shocker to me, but Garchomp is actually getting a few buffs right here. So its boosted attacks, once they're all charged up, are going to give you even more lifesteal than before, going from 15% to 20% lifesteal. This is really nice, and it probably is directly related to having to brawl with things like Mewtwo. They want to make sure that Garchomp can actually stay in the fight a little bit longer, and this additional lifesteal could help a lot. Also, its boosted auto is dealing more damage. It's now 120% of its attack stat. Increased lifesteal and increased damage on its boosteds, which is pretty huge for this Pokemon. Not only that, you're also getting a cooldown reduction to its Unite move, which is already really good at getting into some crazy situations to KO some of the squishier enemy attackers. I actually think these are really awesome buffs for Garchomp, and they make me wonder if Garchomp is maybe the next Battle Pass, because sometimes when there's a Battle Pass coming out, they give some nice little buffs to a Pokemon that they haven't looked at in a little while, and that may be Garchomp. And then finally, outside of the Mewtwo's, which I'll talk about here in a second, we have Tyranitar. Tyranitar is a Pokemon that I feel like has really lost its place inside the game recently. It's not that it's terrible, it's just that for the amount of the experience you need to get for this Pokemon, it really doesn't feel like it's giving you enough back. So they actually buffed this Pokemon in a couple ways. Its Unite move is getting a cooldown reduction, which is nice. It just means that every time you're jumping into a big fight with T-Tar, you will hopefully have a Unite move. And I think that's pretty important. You want to be very, very impactful once you get this Pokemon to level 9. Tyranitar's other big change is that it got an HP increase. So you're actually getting more HP as you level up with this Pokemon, and it starts to become greater as you get higher in level. So it's about the same at the start of a match, but as the match goes on, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Giving Tyranitar this HP buff is actually really nice because Tyranitar receives increased defenses after using a move once it evolves to T-Tar. Watch, take a look here. You can see my defenses go up, and that stays on for 3 seconds. That's its Sandstream passive. And if you juggle your abilities correctly, that's up a lot. So basically, you can use an Ancient Power into a Dark Pulse, into an Ancient Power, and you just continue to juggle this sand that's around you and these increased defenses. Pair that with the more HP Tyranitar has and the fact that you're going to be using your Unite move more often, you actually might see this Pokemon do a lot more inside of games. I bet they could still have done a little bit more for T-Tar because it needs so much XP to get online, but without question, these are very nice buffs. The other nerfs and buffs that were added to the game have things to do with Mewtwo Y that is coming very soon. Also some bug fixes. From what I understand, a bug fix with Mewtwo X's Unite move that will probably also correlate directly with Mewtwo Y. I'm sure a lot of people were looking for more Mewtwo nerfs. I know I am, but this is definitely a sort of midway point balance patch. This isn't a big balance patch like we would normally see. I'm guessing these were all things that they wanted to balance before Worlds, but they just didn't have a time to get enough of it ready. This probably would have come with the recent Mewtwo nerfs if they didn't also have to get that Decidueye bug fix. So let me know what you think about these in the comments. What is your favorite? What would you like to see changed on a Pokemon that they haven't messed with in a while? Let me know. And if Garchomp happens to be the Battle Pass, what would you want the theme to be? Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love you, and I'll see you all next time.